I just need to take it all in. Hello! Are we excited or what? I need to be on time now. This show is running. It's on the clock. We're going to be on the clock the whole time. 9 stages, going simultaneously. Video production. I want to welcome you to Data Innovation Summit and this year's theme. Data, innovation, from data and AI transformation to decentralized data and AI value creation. So this is and has been the journey. Now, my job as a chairman is to pick up on the theme and give the theme for the conference. And this is what I'm trying to do. I'm going to do it in 2 days. I'm going to talk about value creation today, and I'm going to talk about decentralized tomorrow. And what I'm wanting to do is taking these macro, fancy, big words and make them more concrete in relation to data, AI practitioners, and us who leads data and AI. There is a survey done every year. It's done by Data Analytics Leadership Annual Executive Survey. Can I have something on the screen here? That is really setting the bar of, doing the survey of where are we right now with AI. It highlights the investments, it highlights the struggles. The most important sentence, in my opinion, in the whole survey is this one. Data is driving substantial amounts of business innovation. However, the ultimate value comes from when we use it. And this really highlights the relation between innovation, value creation, and adoption in the same sentence. So this is it. If you're in this room, the value creation challenge. How do we scope data and AI innovation as something that we can do, organize, and manage that creates value in use? One thing is to have it on the PowerPoint, on the macro transformation slide, but what do we really mean with data value creation in real life? What does it mean to us? We can start this journey dissecting that by looking at how people have described innovation. Schumpeter already in 1942 highlighted innovation as a 3-stage definition. The invention part, the innovation part, and the diffusion part, the market adoption part. One way to think about this is truly to take the modern example of ChatGPT. Okay, we all have seen it now in media. The experts have been arguing back and forth. Is this really innovation? No, it's not innovation. It's the transformer that is the innovation. No, it's not the transformer. It's the AI techniques that the transformer is built on. This type of definition highlights the invention part, the AI techniques, versus turning that into something that can derive value and ultimately something that can be adopted on a large scale. So what is, in that sense, ChatGPT? I leave up to you to decide. Now, on Schumpeter's work, we got to the diffusion of innovations, innovation adoption model. Now we're in 62. We are talking Everett Rogers, and we have seen this curve many times, of course. And then, of course, the latest iteration on the same topic, Crossing the Chasm, Geoffrey Moore in 91. And here he highlights you need majority adoption to get macroeconomic effects. So what he's saying is it's not even an innovation until it crosses the chasm. What's wrong with this picture if you're a data and AI practitioner? Nothing wrong with it, but it's too far away. It's not helpful. It's working in the boardrooms to try to explain adoption of technology, adoption of innovation. But we need to get to a much more detailed level to pick this apart. One way of doing that is to take a step back and realizing that the chasm-crossing macro innovation is an aggregation of a decentralized set of micro-innovations or adoption events. So when we say digital transformation, that's a macro story we are talking about in the boardroom. And we now need to understand that actually we have adopted a lot of things along the way to do this transformation, from the data to the AI to the change in people and processes, a lot of things. And it's not until we really start understanding the sequencing of adoption events that this really is something we can manage and organize. So here we are now if we look at that macro cycle and then we start looking at from the operations or the customer point of view, how do we excite them to get started? How do we explore the use cases? How do we expand from one use case to several? And how do we extract value and network effects and everything? And if I flip it, looking at us as the producers, the startup, the data team, we have an alpha. We need to generate the idea. We need to explore with beta. How do we scale it? Scaling is tricky because it's not only about scaling to more use cases or in global markets. It's about scaling the platform. It's about scaling the amount of data we need. So decentralized in the sense that many different things happen, small things that we need to string together in a sequence, investing smartly to get to the cross and chasm innovation. The bottom line, a very, very simple bottom line here. Adoption is the quantum of innovation and the measure of value creation. All these slides, if you take a step back, the definitions are made now. Nothing is an innovation if it has not been adopted. That's what these models show. So now we come to the way I would frame the same keynote presentation and themes on operational level. We need to productize data and AI for adoption in operations. So here now, we've spent the first couple of minutes to explore adoption on a macro level. But why do I put productize on the frontier? Well, let's start like this. Who has really sit down and really thought about how does value creation look like in operations? When we say value creation, we're going to have value creation. What's the sequence that actually extracts value? We have nothing, we're going to do something with data, and we're going to extract value in the business for it. What's that sequence? It starts with the usage. Someone is using something that someone in this room is working on. So we have an output, our algorithm, something that is supposed to do that makes us better. When they use that, they're going to use that in their operations. So we're talking B2B, if you're talking industry, we are helping someone to improve the manufacturing effectiveness. So they're going to use that in their manufacturing operations. Now what happens then? Using the algorithm, using the data boosts their output. Their output, the adopter output, the internal customer output, or even if I'm Spotify, the end consumer. So here we are talking about now our real objective, the real problem we want to solve is to boost what they're doing. This, to me, the way I frame this, the way we frame this, is product success. If you look at output and the definition of output, a process has an output, projects have deliverables. Yes, we tick the box on the project, it's fantastic, the algorithm works. Is anyone using it? Is it boosting production? Together now, using our stuff, putting their output, this helps our adopters achieve their objective, and ultimately together, now we have reached business success. Together we have reached business success. Our model, our data, our innovation together with how they have used it, created the value. So what's the point I'm trying to make here, dissecting or semantically dissecting value creation? It puts a finger on the relationship between output and usage. It puts a finger on product success. The way I define product success now, how it's being adopted and used, and that leads to business success. Then it leads to a very, very simple conclusion. Value creation takes place in the adopter domain. It's only value when someone is adopting them in their operations. That's number one key here. The second key here, that means productization is key for the productizer domain. For whoever is trying to help someone with innovation, to really, really think about the usage is important. And this is interesting because I go into someone's operations, they're going to use my algorithm, but they have their life. They have so many other things they need to fit this algorithm into. I take a sales guy that wants a recommender system for which customer to advise or sell to. And he gets something that works on the computer in the office, but he's supposed to be on the road. Ultimately, it puts a finger on how we set up and organize to maximize the productized adopter interface. How do we really meet our users? Bottom line, all this boils down to, regardless how we try to organize this, this is about co-creation with the user domain. If it's the end customer, to truly understand how we fit into their usage. So now, this is how I say productize. This is what I mean with productize. I'm saying to think about how do we maximize the experience of what we're doing. It puts another frame on how we are working. And now we can think about this in terms of what we can do, organize, and manage. What we need to do, we need to co-create for value in use. So how do we have we organized this really well? Have we figured that out? How far away is the data science team from the business people? How many organizational layers do we have in between the people in this room and the sales guy on the road who knows how it works? We need to design for products that are usable and adoptable. So we need to design stuff not only in relation to that our stuff looks cool and nice, that it works in relation to whoever is going to use it. So this, how we organize, how we set up the productized adopter interface and interaction becomes super important. And adoption and the adopter value in use becomes one of the most important metrics to think about. What I have talked about right now, Productise Data and AI for adoption in operations, it applies to the back-end people. If you're working with cloud platforms and your customer is actually not an end customer in business, but is actually a data scientist, or it's actually a domain team. If we talk about data mesh that we will have here today, we talk about the platform team working towards domain teams. So every step of the ladder here, we are coming from a legacy where we have had process, value chain, and we talk about outputs, and we've done our job when we put it to the next unit in the value chain. The tricky part with that is that no one really takes care of value creation if you don't really connect what are you needing to do your job better. So it boils down a lot to these kind of topics. And why is this important? Why is this crucial? We see in the surveys that we are doing stuff, we're inventing, we are having POCs, we are investing more in AI, but we don't really see the ramp up in value creation. What are the missing pieces in the puzzle? The survey says, oh, we need to have a cultural shift in the organization. We need to have a mind shift. Easy to say, but what I'm trying to do is to be precise. When I say mindset shift, what are we really talking about? And I think this is one example. Value chain and process, shifting into the mindset of product thinking. We need to be much more concrete when we say we need to have a cultural shift. What is it actually we are trying to do differently? If you have these objectives clear, or we need to have product thinking, then how should I organize? Then how should I set up the platform? Then how should I think about the algorithm? So, I hope everybody here will have a fantastic conference. I hope that you will, as Goran said, meet at least 15 new people. The real heart of this conference is the peer-to-peer networking. Especially with the hype going on right now from generative AI, it's really, really hard to distinguish signal from noise. What is marketing hype? What is real? My advice, the way I have solved that trying to build my own point of view by talking to my peers. Listening to the vendors, seeing what they have to offer till we get a picture of the landscape, but working with peers. How did you do it? You were on-prem and you needed to go to cloud. How were you thinking about that? Try to have those conversations today. That's my deepest advice. So ultimately, what is so exciting to be on this stage today is to see the growing community. The growing community of practitioners and leaders of practitioners, because we need to figure this out and explain this in a way that it works in the boardroom. It's not going to happen the other way around. The boardroom is even further away from understanding this stuff. We need to take a step up, but we need to drive that journey. That's all about becoming and being a DARE legend. Data AI ready legends.